Welcome back to Master 79. In this lesson we will complete a full ielts writing task 1 line graph from the first read of the data through the brainstorm to a band 9 model answer. One quick note before we start. Band 9 here is my own assessment of the writing against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a certified examiner score. Here is the task. The chart shows the changes that took place in 3 different areas of crime in Newport city centre from 2003 to 2012. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Notice the 2 instructions hidden in that wording. Select, which means you must leave things out, and compare, which means the 3 lines have to be measured against each other, not described one after another in isolation. This is the graph. 3 lines, 10 years, and offences on the vertical axis. Give yourself 60 seconds here and do not write a single word yet. Just look at the shapes. The red line falls a long way. The blue line sags in the middle and then climbed back. The yellow line is almost flat along the bottom. That is already your overview. Now read off the numbers you actually need. Burglary starts at about 3,400 and ends at about 1,300, peaking at 3,650 in 2004 and hitting its low of 1,250 in 2008. Car theft starts near 2,800, drops to 2,000 in 2006 and finishes at around 2,700. Robbery begins and ends at roughly 600 with a small peak of 900 in 2005. 6 numbers per line is plenty. Step 1 of the brainstorm. Ask what shape each line makes. Burglary is a steep, sustained fall that then goes flat. Car theft dips to a low in 2006 and then recovers steadily. Robbery barely moves at all, sitting in a narrow band between 500 and 900 and ending exactly where it started. Describing shape first stops you from writing a list of numbers later. Step 2. Decide which features actually earn marks. You must include the crossover, where car theft passes burglary in 2007 and becomes the most common crime. You must include the peaks and troughs with their years, and the fact that burglary finishes at well under half its starting level. Now the harder discipline. Deliberately leave out every single year's value because that is data listing and it is penalized. Leave out causes because nothing in the graph explains why crime fell. And leave out opinions and recommendations because task 1 is a report, not an essay. That gives us a 4-paragraph plan. Paragraph 1 paraphrases the prompt. Paragraph 2 is the overview, 2 or 3 sentences, and critically, with no figures at all. Paragraph 3 covers burglary in full. Paragraph 4 takes car theft and the crossover, then uses robbery as the flat contrast. Grouping the 2 related lines together is what makes the comparison feel natural. Paragraph 1. The line graph illustrates how the incidence of 3 categories of crime, burglary, car theft and robbery, changed in the center of Newport over the 10 years from 2003 to 2012. Notice that every content word from the prompt has been replaced. Changes becomes incidents. Areas of crime becomes categories of crime. The date range is expressed as a 10-year span. Paragraph 2. The overview. Overall, burglary fell dramatically across the period and was overtaken by car theft, which, after dipping to a mid-period low, recovered to become the most frequently reported offense. Robbery remained by far the least common crime throughout and fluctuated only marginally. Read that again and count the numbers in it. There are none. That is deliberate, and it is one of the clearest markers of a high-band task 1 answer. Paragraph 3. Burglary. Burglary was initially the most prevalent offence at roughly 3,400 incidents, and it climbed to a peak of approximately 3,650 in 2004. It then fell steeply, more than halving to around 1,550 by 2007, before bottoming out at about 1,250 the following year. The remaining 4 years brought only slight fluctuation, and the figure closed at approximately 1,300, well under half its starting level. Every figure is hedged with roughly, approximately, or about, because you are reading values off a graph, not quoting a table. Paragraph 4. Car theft and robbery together. Car theft traced a shallower, U-shaped path. From around 2,800 cases in 2003, it edged up slightly, then declined to a low of 2,000 in 2006, after which it recovered steadily, overtaking burglary in 2007 and finishing highest of the three at roughly 2,700. Robbery, by contrast, never exceeded its 2005 peak of about 900 and oscillated narrowly between 500 and 900, ending at around 600, almost exactly where it had begun. Here is the language that did the work. Change verbs: climbed, fell steeply, bottomed out, recovered, edged up. Hedging words for values: read off a graph, roughly, approximately, around, about. Comparison language: overtaking, by contrast, well under half, finishing highest. And shape nouns: a shallow U-shaped path, a peak of, a low of. Learn these as a set and you can describe almost any line graph. Why I would place this at band 9. Task achievement. There is a clear figure-free overview and every selected feature is supported with data. Coherence and cohesion. One idea per paragraph and the sequencing carries the reader through the decade. Lexical resource. Precise change verbs and hedged quantities with no repetition of the word increase. Grammatical range. Participle and relative clauses are handled accurately throughout. And to repeat the caveat honestly, band 9 here is my own assessment against the public band descriptors, not a certified examiner score. That is the complete process. Read the shapes, select only the features that earn marks, write a figure-free overview, then group the lines sensibly and hedge every number. If this helps, subscribe to Master 79 for the rest of the Task 1 series. Good luck with your exam.